Joining me right now is a woman who's written a book that I think is going to help a lot of people, particularly when it comes to finances. A lot of people are looking at that right now as we are right in the middle of tax season. We're joined by Regina Leeds, who's written a book called 1 Year to an Organized Financial Life. And Regina joins us from the LA area today. How are you, Regina?
Oh, I'm just wonderful. How are you?
I'm doing great. You are a professional organizer among the other talents you've had. How does one become a professional organizer?
Oh, well, it's rather formalized today. Most people call the National Association of Professional Organizers and they get certified, but I've been a professional organizer for 21 years. I was one of the pioneers when, you would go to a cocktail party and tell people you were an organizer, and they would literally look at me blank. and then I would explain what I did, and they would say, no, seriously, you get paid for that? And so I've lived to see it become a legitimate profession, and I was very blessed on this new book, which is my 7th, because I worked with a financial planner, Russell Wild. And so lest anybody think that I was the one who knew all about mortgages and insurance policies, no. I know how to organize it, and Russell's the one who spoke to explaining what you need.
Before we get into some of the details, you give a week-by-week plan of how to organize your finances. Were you always a person that was organized, or did you have to kind of teach yourself and learn to be organized? Or was it a natural thing, or did you learn it?
To be organized was a natural thing for me, and I was blessed to have a very organized mother who said, at least, I would say, 25,000 times a day, Regina, there is a place for everything.
Yes, I've heard that too.
Yes.
You're my mother, and your mother must have known each other.
And what we didn't know is that other mothers weren't saying that. That simple little homely bromide is really the crux of the whole matter. If you designate a spot and you keep returning things, whether it's your keys or your financial papers or the things you cook with in the kitchen or the clothes you're going to wear, whatever it is, if it has a designated home and it always goes back to that home, you'll never waste time looking for things.
What would you say is the number one thing people do wrong? Is it just misplacing bills or not keeping track? Or what would you say is as far as financial things go?
Oh, goodness. I walk into most homes, and the kitchen counters have been given over to paper. The dining room table is given over to paper. It's only used for holidays, if that. And if there is a designated home office, there are papers everywhere. And I think people become so afraid of what financial mail may tell them that they open it, they can barely deal with it, they don't know what to do with it, they don't want to know what to do with it, and so they allow, numbers are really great because numbers don't lie, and they're not set in stone. You can be the most financially responsible person in the world, and in a week you can rack up a big debt, and by the same token you can have a huge debt and you can pay it down and be done with it. So numbers are always in flux, but they don't lie, and that's really that dispassionate, emotion-free quality about numbers is what I have come to love about them. They always tell you the truth.
I was always taught, and I think my grandfather might have taught me that, my dad, of course, as well, my mom, always know how much money you have in your wallet at all times. That's probably the first step you should learn as a kid, right? I mean, know how much you have on you, just so that gives you at least a mental picture of managing your money at that point, doesn't it?
That's so great, because that's exactly what all adults need to know. Of course, you can extrapolate out. It's not just the money in your pocket, but it is, how much money am I making, which is pretty easy if you have a 9-to-5 job and you don't do any freelance work. Okay, that number, And the average person knows really well, okay, what's my rent or my mortgage? What are my insurance policy payments? Do I have a car payment? Those big expenses are pretty static every month, and we tend to know how much they are. See if you have anything like that on your phone bill. Right. See if you have a landline, a dedicated fax line. Do you have a cell phone? You need all of this. Do you need the mega program that you've got on your satellite or cable coverage? Could you shut off some of the rooms in your home and use space heaters where if you just sit in the living room, why are you heating the whole house if you're just in one area? There are just countless ways that you can save money. And when you start to multiply what they are and write it down and add it up, then you realize, oh, this is my ticket to being debt-free. This is my ticket to having a 6-month account that I can live on in the event of an emergency. This is my ticket to having money to invest, and so on and so forth. It's not denying yourself. It's just redirecting what you have and seeking pleasure, not in something ephemeral and passing or, how many shoes, how many pocketbooks, how many wallets do we all need, but in long-term investing.
I like how you lay it out. I mean, you go week by week, month by month, what you should do at different times of the year. Right now, people are looking at their taxes because that's coming up in a couple of months to have that done, and that's a big way to save money. You maybe have too much money taken out of your check every week. That's one way to save money, isn't it?
Absolutely, and then you certainly want it, if you are someone who can itemize, you certainly don't want to be losing receipts or having to go through the whole house or wondering where they are. It takes about a day to set up a really crackerjack file system. And you do have to spend a few minutes every day working it and using it and making it serve you. But the reality is it will save you time and money and energy like you can't believe over the course of the year. So, and then every year, to tune up a file system, and by that I mean you once a year, and I usually do it between Christmas and New Year's because the whole world is into the energy of the new year starting. Take out projects that you can archive. If something is done and you don't need to refer to it, but you do need to hold on to it, find a separate place to archive it, because your file system should always be active, current information. And a lot of people turn theirs into cemeteries or places, the place you honor the past, and that won't serve you.
Well, the name of the book is 1 Year to an Organized Financial Life. We've been talking with Regina Leeds. And Regina, do you have a website you want to direct people to if they want to get a hold of you or look more at the book?
Absolutely. There are pages for all of the 1 Year 2 series that you can just go to at Amazon.com and just type in my name, Regina Leeds, Leeds, and they'll all come up, and you can just look at some of the pages and chapters and the index and so forth. But if anyone has a question and they would like to write to me, they can go to Regina Leeds, Leeds.com, and I promise to answer all of my email personally.
Great. Well, Regina, we appreciate you taking a few minutes. I know you're probably doing a lot of these, but it's a great time of year to have a book come out, and we look forward to perhaps seeing you in person one day, or at least when the next book comes out, have you back on again.
Oh, thank you. I'd be so honored.